It is now begun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cellini Rounds podcast. That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna be like, I'm your host.
I'm
Yeah.
your host, Dr. Jim Cellini. I'm joined by my younger brothers and interventional radiologist, Dr. Michael Cellini, in the top left square, and on the bottom where he belongs and prefers,
No, he can't do anything without saying that
Yeah,
voice.
you really can't. Yeah.
Thomas Cellini, the radiologist who's going to be a breast imaging specialist.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Jim, he can't just
No.
speak normally.
Also,
sorry,
does he
guys.
have another voice?
I know.
He
He gets a
sorry,
microphone from him. He's like turns into.
I'm not comfortable with myself, so I have to pretend to be other people.
I know, it's okay.
Sounds about right.
How are you guys doing?
I'd say strong. Just a little long day of work, a little filming, and now a little more filming. You know,
And then sending it to an editor to do all the editing for you.
this
Which
is
is
just the life
80% of the
we
work?
live. Yeah, after I edited 120 plus videos of my own while working full
Michael,
time.
Jim, stop downplaying
I know.
YouTubing, okay?
Yeah.
Jim, you always think you and everybody think success comes overnight.
Yeah. Just effortless.
I was thinking about that. We were talking about golfing earlier. Just good. They've been around for a while, and like Garrett Clark used to make those. This golf YouTuber we're talking about. They just reached 1 million viewers on there, or 1 million subscribers on their channel. Good golf,
Wow.
and but they've been doing it for a while. But everyone's like, "Oh, you guys just blew up overnight." And they're like, "No, we've been like doing videos for like 7-8 years every
Yeah.
day."
They start in like 2013 and it's their main job
Yeah.
and they're broke for like 6 years in a row. They're like, lucky.
It's the same with like the Nelk Boys. I was watching this thing on the Nelk Boys the other day, and he's like, and everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are really popular now. Like you popped off." And they're like, "We started in 2010, like sleeping on couches, just like filming stupid videos."
Yeah, I was
I
going
mean-
to say pop up good because I've never watched any of their stuff.
Shout out, good.
Shout out to Good.
What makes their
So-
stuff so good? Good.
God, I
makes
hate
their
you.
stuff- What makes their stuff so good?
Yeah.
I mean,
So basically, the premise of Good, we won't spend too much time with this, but the premise of Good is that it's just like 6 bros who are just all good guys, and they play golf and they play golf really well. They're like borderline scratch handicappers, all of them, and they literally just play golf for YouTube, and then they film entire matches, and they do like fun matches like scrambles and stuff. But
I mean, they basically just single-handedly like. I love golf, but watching them play golf and have fun makes me want to play golf even more.
I know it makes me want to be good at golf and like rewind my life to when I was 22 and just like pursue something like
This
this.
is nonstop golf.
These kids, they just film YouTube of themselves playing golf, and they have 1 million subscribers. They've got 6 different channels. Across all the different channels, they probably have 2 million subscribers,
Yeah.
and they just make their living off this. They just show up to like these amazing courses all over the country, and they just get their morning coffee, and then they just start swinging and playing around, and they just film it, and this is their content.
It is pretty
That's,
insane.
pretty
Yeah.
solid. I mean, he's -2. Jesus.
Yeah, it's disgusting. They're also
Okay.
like about half of them are like insanely good.
Were they all like collegiate golfers or something? They
I
started.
think a lot of them were.
Two of
Okay.
them were. Two of them
What do
were,
you-
and then they just play every day, man.
What a useful skill to be just like
They also have
college golfer.
They also have
dude,
quite possibly one of the
Swimming is
greatest.
worthless.
They have quite possibly one of the greatest videos on YouTube. It's called "The Greatest Golf Shot in YouTube History." Garrett's like, I have a weird feeling about this. Matt pures.
I mean, dude, that
He goes,
swing
"I
is
quit
so
life."
clean.
And listen.
Well, we can't listen because we have no volume, but he stops for a second.
I mean, he hits this like 400 yards.
I mean, he
Yeah.
literally drives the green and then drives into the hole.
Oh my god, he hold he hold out a par 4.
Aces,
Good
Here's
lord.
another
Par4.
angle of it.
which is absolutely insane. I mean, the probability of doing that is
I mean,
next level. I don't even know what it is. Doodle
Freak out.
probability of Jim. Doodle probability of holding a par 4.
and then they have this bro moment where they all sprint to the green because they figured out it's a hole in one. So they all.
It's not
This
just
is
a
like if
hole
you're
in
at a
one,
bachelor party and you hit a number on a
Sprinting.
roulette table.
He's sprinting so hard.
but it's not just a hole in one. It's a hole in one on a par 4.
Right.
Jim, look up the stats on that, and then we'll change topics because people probably don't care about golf.
Right. Odds of a hole in one.
No, that's not on a par 4.
Up to 6 million and one.
That's insane.
Jeez.
Insanity. 6
Good
million.
lord. That's,
So the short,
it's pretty rare.
short story of that is they have an awesome channel and we're obsessed with it.
Yes.
But we're not going to
Um,
dwell on that.
But we digress. So, Michael, you haven't been up to much besides making content, working, and playing golf.
Pretty much, yeah.
I've made zero content because I just have not felt like it the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just don't feel like it, you know?
I told myself, the last little bit I've woken up on when I have time to do it, I'm like, what do I truly want to do right now? And if it's not making content, I'm not going to sit down and force something to come out of me.
Yeah, that's what the really thing is. And what people don't realize is, I mean, maybe they do, but it takes a lot of time to make these videos.
Dude, it's so much work.
Like, it's a lot of work. And the thing is, it's a lot of work on your time off. So you're like, I finally have a day off. You're like, the last thing you want to do is like, all right, wake
Bang
up
out a
early,
video. Yeah.
start getting some topics, start
Right.
writing a script out. I need to sit down and film it. I need to shower so I look presentable on camera. Like,
Right. I have to shave. I have to go get my hair cut and stuff like that.
You know, it's like it's a lot to
It's
keep up
truly
with.
a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So
Just want to sit on the couch and be a slob and be like,
yeah,
"Oh,
sometimes
so-
you just want to
yeah.
sit on the couch.
Or like
Yeah, I
just
mean,
go
it's
play golf and then sit on the couch for like 3 hours until your wife tells you that you have to go get your kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
preaching to the choir.
Pretty
Jim,
much.
go get Beatrice, Jim.
Okay. I love you.
Stop neglecting her.
And yeah, it just takes a lot of time. So I realized what I started doing is I'll film it on Thursdays because Andrea's at work. I come home from work, film a video, and then go right into this podcast so I can just kill everything with one day.
Mm.
I used to do 2 videos a week. I can't do that anymore. It's too much.
Two is a
That's-
lot,
dude,
man.
2 videos is too much.
I did that for like a year and a half straight, never missed an upload.
Did you really?
And that was while I was in fellowship.
Was it in fellowship? Oh,
I
my
have
God.
I really don't know how I did it.
I guess you could always do like a blog though, and you could be like something like that. You had to like more.
Yeah.
I
You
feel
did
like when you're-
vlogs and you didn't do videos where you like deep dived into a topic quite as much, I feel like.
Yeah.
True.
You could just be like day in the life of Michael and like film it
Right.
as you go, which is work, but it's
Yeah.
it's like at least a
Easy.
backdoor. And you can do
Hey,
that when
guys.
you're not in private practice in academics. You're like in training because you're like, it's really as long as you don't do any patient information. It's like
Hey, guys,
"Ah,
follow along as I go to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean those are easy.
Those are so easy. Day in the life is the easiest video.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
problem is it's so overdone now.
oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
brutal
every
good.
med student who starts YouTube, every surgical person, every whatever, day in the life of this. Day in the
So
life of-
we got a cholecystectomy. This guy came in febrile, and we're gonna go operate on it, see how it goes.
we had cholecystectomy. This guy came in with signs of acute cholecystitis, which is why we're doing the cholecystectomy.
Cut to shot with music overlying as I scrub in. And it's like cut to
Yeah, I mean-
afterwards, back. Man, whew, it's tough. Glad it's
Okay.
over, but we did a good job with these
Ju-
patients.
Just finished that procedure and I'm not able to show you a single second of it because of YouTube rules and legality in general.
But I'll
Yeah.
talk about
Just trust
Yeah.
me, that happened.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
what
have
else?
not done the procedure actually.
it. Yeah, I could have just sat here.
Yeah, you just
But,
walk in the empty hospital at 12 o'clock at night and be like, "Oh man, tough."
Do you guys think any day in the lives are actually faked where they just pretend to do that and then come
Oh,
out?
for sure.
There's got to be greater than 0, right?
Oh,
Probably.
Yeah.
There's definitely
ways.
greater
I
than
would
0.
I would love to find out who
I mean,
it is
first of all, every med student day in
and
the life
destroy
of
them.
is a lie anyway, because every med
Yeah.
student's like, went to surgery, and it's like, oh, you mean you stood behind 6 people, didn't
I
touch
know.
a single thing, and got yelled
Bro,
at
you
once,
might as
and
well
then
have been the
you're
drape.
done? At least the drape serves a
And
purpose.
students always act like they do more than they actually are.
Oh, they love
Oh, they love acting like they do so much.
It's-
Literally,
it's
they're
like that
lucky
in
to
vet
be.
school too. God
They're
bless
even
them.
lucky.
God
lucky-
bless them.
They're even lucky to be in the room.
it. Yeah. I used to, when I was on a surgery rotation as a med student one time, I just was like, wanted to touch something. And so I was like, oh, yeah, just like fiddle around. I got blood on my gloves. I remember one of the texts was like, it's a classic med student move. He goes, just grab the hands, grab some blood, and be like, all right, I did something.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
wipe
how
your
much-
hands. Be like, I got blood on me. I'm a doctor now.
It's like in high school football when some kids have a perfectly clean jersey because they didn't touch in the playing time.
Yeah, it's like that.
Exactly what it's like.
There's like not a
Dude.
single drop of blood on your whole scrubs.
Didn't Dad used to say that about like it was like Uncle Chris or something like that? He'd be
Yeah, I
like,
did
you
because
used to have
Uncle
the
Chris sucked at football, and
Yeah.
dad's jersey was always destroyed. Uncle Chris was perfect at the end of every game.
Oh man.
It was like perfectly spotless. He was like, oh, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much do med students embellish what they actually do?
Oh God. It's
On
If
social
I-
media, it's
Yeah.
probably 1,000x. It's
I
like
mean,
an
on
order
social
of
media-
magnitude worth of embellishment.
First of all, if you have time to like film you putting up your white coat on the hanger, then like you're not doing enough.
yeah.
I
Also, your white coat is 3 inches long, and it's the stupidest looking thing on
Also,
the face of the
can I
planet.
just say they wake up so unnecessarily early for some of
Ah.
these like videos.
So early.
They're
They
like-
wake up like 3:30 and they're like grinding, bro.
Yeah, they're like,
Like, okay.
it's 3:15 a.m. Got to get this workout in with 3 of my med school classmates.
Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, no, they
Let's
don't.
go wear sleeveless shirts and go like into the school gym.
Yeah.
We got to get this in. Gonna go back home, do some coffee and breakfast, and go back and let's start 8 a.m. lectures. We got physiology at 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
That's
don't
so
understand like what they're just like filming. They're like, yeah, I went to lecture today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do-
studied.
Woke
went
up
to
tomorrow.
lecture
I'm gonna
today."
wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Next day I'm gonna wake up at 1 a.m. And the next day I'm gonna wake up backwards into 12 and 11. So it's actually the day before.
I'm gonna get negative sleep.
Yeah. They
I'm gonna go
they
back
all
in time, work
they
out
all
twice.
act like they all act like they're David Goggins. That's like what they do. Is they're like
I know.
you're just constantly on the grind, constantly like 3 a.m. Like then they'll be like 4:30. I did some flashcards before my coffee was brewing. It's like, dude,
Right.
shut up. Like flashcards, like get out of
Every-
here.
The thing is,
everything's
Tommy,
I
you
work
realize you're like 15 years older than these people now.
Oh, and you know what? That came to. I actually had a med student recently, and I actually had like a resident I was working with, and a patient asked me how old I
A
was.
whole generation older.
Yeah, and I remember being like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "I guess I am." And this guy was like a second. He was like a PGY2, PGY3, and he was like 7 years younger than me. And I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "How are you
Yeah.
that much younger than me?" I was like,
Yeah.
"I graduated college, and you were like middle school," and I was like, "You're." I'm still in training. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
What is wrong here?" But no, I had a med student too, and the same thing. They were like, I was like, "Am I 11 years older than you?" I was like, "What the hell?" I was like,
I mean, our interns this year where I worked, they finished in 2022.
oh my god,
And I'm like, you started vet school in 2018. You started college in 2014,
Jeez.
which means you were in high school the year that my residency started.
good lord.
And it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm because I remember when people my age used to like think back like this and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been out of school for 12 years already.
Yeah.
And it's literally, I am that person now.
Yeah,
I don't have many med students, but I had one recently, and I just forgot how little they actually know.
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I'm just like it's crazy because you kind of take it for granted, like where you came from, like throughout all of this process. But like,
Yeah.
I
By the way,
was-
we're not saying that we were better than they were.
Oh,
back
no,
then.
I
no,
knew
no, no. I was an
nothing.
idiot. I was an idiot
Yeah.
when I was I didn't know anything.
Yeah, same.
But I mean, it just takes a decade, better part of a decade, to like to learn what you're doing.
learn like anything.
Yeah, which is crazy. But like, I remember we were doing a case in like IR, and like I had an epiphany while I was talking to him and explaining to him like, I don't know, it was like a mass I was biopsying. I was like, well, it can only be 2 or 3 things. I was like, this is a classic appearance on CT, so it's probably this, and the pathologist is there for every biopsy. And they're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this. I'm like, see, I told you. I looked like a genius, but he's like, I don't even know what you're even talking about. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
because
like,
like,
how'd you know that witchcraft?
yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. It's just like, you know, how you just connect the dots in your head like immediately. You're just so used to it.
Yeah,
You're just so far past med student level that it's like second nature to you. But they're like, what are you even? How did you even know that?
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's just
So I actually have, I know you get asked this question 1,000 times, but like if you were a freshman in high school right now, like what would you do differently, like to get to medical school? Assuming you still wanted to be a doctor and you rewound your life, like, and you wanted to just like optimize going to medical school, like what do you do in high school and college?
Now I think it's like way too competitive now.
yeah.
It's like I don't even think I would have a
Oh, so you
shot.
just have no chance, so you wouldn't even try?
Yeah. It's like every single med student you interview, for like med school residency, they all have these like incredible backstories.
They started
what?
the 503c charity corporation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They'll do that, or they've got like a YouTube like Michael's or something already, and they're like,
My
For
father founded Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, they're like, yeah, I did this when I was 18. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what? How? They're like, I created a biodegradable coronary stent out of leaves.
I've actually seen, I've interviewed, did you know I interviewed people from
Yeah.
med school and residency, and some kids like actually have inventions like that. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, I
how'd
didn't
you
know what a
know?
coronary stent was until like yesterday.
Yeah. I know. I do the same thing.
Like 17, like, yeah, I was researching structural integrity of a stent.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I'm like, I
realize
don't
how-
even know how to research that now.
You realize how many interview dinners I've been on where like you guys always come up because it's hard not to bring you guys up and be like, yeah, me and my two brothers are all doctors or whatever. And the interviewer will be like, well, your parents must be doctors. And I'm like,
Nope.
I mean, no, I get no offense to my parents. I'm not saying that they're like, stupid or anything, but like,
Idiots.
like, I'm like, well, my mom was a stay-at-home mom and my dad had a pizza restaurant. And they're like, what? You can tell that they don't know what they kind of like pause for a
Yeah.
second. They're like,
Like, so your parents didn't pay
Wow.
for med school? You're like, no, not quite.
Yeah, not quite.
You know what I actually notice is everyone's always interested in what Jim does. And I mean, specifically just me being in radiology. But I'll be like, oh, my brother's an interventional radiologist. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And then I mention Jim. And they're like, what? They're like, it's the most
that's a
fascinating.
thing.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
good neurologist. I'm like, oh, yeah, the other one's actually like in medicine and stuff. They're like, don't care. They're like,
Yeah,
I know an
like,
interventional
next.
radiologist.
Yeah, like, yeah, you and everybody else, bro.
Yeah. Get
Keep
in line.
moving.
So I wanted to ask you guys when you guys do residencies. So in veterinary medicine, there's this whole discussion about like corporations sponsoring residencies now. And then basically you being their little chess piece for the next 5 years or 3 years after your residency. And so, but basically what they have you do with these contracts is if you do a residency under this corporate sponsored residency, then you have to work for them. Otherwise you owe them $300,000 to $500,000. And as you work for them for 3 to 5 years, every year knocks off $100,000 off that debt. And so you repay the
Okay.
debt. You don't have to pay them, but you repay like a loan over the course of like 3 to 5 years as you work for them.
So
And
wait,
they
I'm
have you sign
confused.
this contract before your residency starts. Is there anything like that in human medicine?
No,
No.
it's
not
a
doing
hundred
that.
percent.
I mean, have you ever heard of anything so unfair?
No, it's 100. It's 100% and fueled by the government. Everything's
What do
paid
you
for
mean?
by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Oh,
All
human
residencies are-
medicine. Yeah.
yeah, human medicine.
Yeah.
So there's no private institutions. But also, I don't understand how a private institution would pay you to work at a academic hospital. 'Cause that's
So what
that's-
they do is they've approached like the Mars company owned Blue
Yeah.
Pearl and VCA and
Yeah.
some other companies like Banfield, and they approached schools like UC Davis and Ohio State, Georgia, other big ones, and they said, "Look, we'll pay for one resident in your program. We'll pay their salary, which congratulations, it's 30 grand a year for 3
Yeah.
years.
Oh, thanks.
so they pay
probably-
they don't even up the salary at all.
I mean, whatever the salary is, it might be like 37,000 nowadays
Yeah.
or something like that. But they pay it, and then they make them work for any Mars clinic afterwards. And if you don't, like, if you say I'm not working for Mars because I don't want to work corporate, then you'll get sued for $500,000 for breach of contract.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't understand. What do they pay you? So wait, so they pay you a salary during residency?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
does the person get?
Yeah.
What do you mean the person?
Like, what does the resident get? Are they
guess
like
the advantage.
guaranteed?
We make a normal salary once you leave. Like it doesn't touch your actual income. Per
Yeah,
se.
but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's
what's the
either-
incentive?
for the
That you-
actual
that-
program,
that you can
they
get
don't
a
have to come-
residency. Like
So it just
have an
guarantees you a
opportunity in front
residency
of you to
spot?
take it. What were you saying?
So it guarantees you a residency spot.
It doesn't guarantee. It's just like it's like Mars will have a spot at UC Davis, and then UC Davis faculty will decide who they'll interview people and pick the best candidate and put them in that slot.
And so if you don't take this horrible deal, you basically won't get a spot. That's
Or
pretty
you
much-
have to just look elsewhere, which is like nowhere near a guarantee.
Oh, okay.
But that's
Like
but
the-
that's just what you're saying is just how you get into a residency spot. So there's no difference.
yeah.
Well, that's not only how the other way is to just match the way you would traditionally match.
Oh, so
And,
you're-
and and it's not corporate sponsored, it's just the usual process. But in addition to that usual process, now these corporate sponsored positions.
So okay, so I'm confused of how it even helps any party involved.
Because Mars is able to vertically integrate down to the level of training a specialist and keeping them within their company.
Yeah.
They spend
It makes sense for Mars and like the program like UC Davis.
It doesn't make sense for UC Davis either. What do they get out of the deal?
They don't have to
They
pay
get-
their
they
peanut
get resident
salary.
labor for 3 years that they don't even have to pay.
Yeah. They get literally, and they kill them and like vet med's worse than human
Oh
medicine.
my
It's
god,
just-
dude! I've heard stories out of UC Davis. UC Davis is a great school. They put out amazing research, and like their specialists are great. Like I know some personally that are like some of the best neurologists I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even joking. But they really rely on like resident and intern labor to run the entire hospital. So I don't know why they can't like, get it like able to self-sustain itself, but like they use the residents as like indentured servitude. And that's so the more residents, the better. They don't make commission. They pay them $37,000 a year to work 80 hours a week.
So does Mars pay UC Davis?
Yes, they pay them. I'm sure. I mean, they must pay them something to let them do this.
Yeah, UC Davis gets all the perks. They don't have to pay the residents.
They don't have to pay the
do
resident,
anything,
or
but they
even
get
if
a crop
don't-
of
even
residents
if-
to do their work.
Even if Mars doesn't pay UC Davis or some other school, we're just using UC Davis as an
Yeah,
example.
these are just examples that we don't know.
Even if they don't, then UC Davis has a resident for 3 years whose salary is paid for and is just working for free for hours and hours and hours, doing research for them, taking in patients, doing emergency shifts.
Yeah, I mean, I see how academia.
It's like the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. The academia will gladly take part in this because
Yeah.
they at the end of the day, academic medicine, they don't really give a shit about the actual residents. They just need a
Yeah.
warm body to sustain
Oh,
the
yeah.
hospital.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying
But-
all programs don't, but there's a lot of programs that just trying to get through.
Yeah,
But like
you
the
know?
fact that Mars is this multi-billion-dollar company, and I think they're like in the top 3 richest families in the entire world, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so.
They're literally just like vertically integrating into the universities now. So it's like, what is corporate versus academia anymore? Like corporate is just subsidizing academic institutions. Like,
But I guess I don't understand why any vet, unless they're not smart, would sign up to this contract.
Yeah.
because you've got an opportunity in front of you that is hard to pass up, and there's no guarantee you'll get it ever again with anybody else at any other time.
So you're not guaranteed the spot in residency, but you're increasing your chance that they'll let you. Because if you,
Yeah, I mean, you interview, and if they offer, they're like, "Hey, because Tom, you remember? Won't say her name, but she was she hung out with us in Chicago. She was a resident at the time.
yeah.
She got offered this when she was applying for residency. She was debating whether or not to just go through the match or to just take an offered position with like a corporation like this, and she didn't
Yeah.
do it. She just went through the match and got somewhere, which is
Oh,
good.
Yeah, good for her not doing that.
Yeah,
part.
but if she didn't, you know,
So I
the-
guess
the-
too, like Mars, if you're agreed to take this, Mars is like, hey, look, take this person because they want to do
Yeah,
our
and
bullshit
that's the
deal.
thing, it's the same thought process as why you sign up for 300 grand worth of student loans at the start of your vet or med school or college or whatever. You don't think down the road about the repercussions of this. All you're thinking about is, oh my God, let me just get past this hurdle, and that's
Yeah,
it.
I'll deal
And they
with this
take
later.
advantage of that.
Yeah, because it's
They
so
know, they
it's
know
such a
that.
Yeah, I mean, they abuse that to a full.
Yes.
It's ridiculous what they do.
Welcome to every, American Medical Association, the National Board of Medical Examiners, the
Colleges.
American Osteopathic Association, every single overseen
Yeah, they know
organization.
you're
takes
desperate
advantage.
for a spot, and so they just take advantage of that full
Right.
force, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Why all these places are
Because
absolutely the
they
worst.
know that becoming a specialist in veterinary medicine is such a huge step up from not being a specialist in terms of like your income generating potential, your quality of life, doing more of what you want to do, and being able to ignore stuff like skin problems, which I literally ignored today on a patient. I said, I can't do that. Go see somewhere else. Just like that quality of life upgrade, they know that like you're looking for that. And I mean, they're literally just like charging you out the ass to like to offer you the position to get through it. Honestly, it's like one of the scariest things for the profession. I think it's just like not only is Mars
terrible.
buying all these practices, but they're now sponsoring you during your training on your way up.
they're basically starting it from the ground up. I mean, it's genius from a business.
It's vertical integration, right?
Yeah.
From the corporate perspective.
Genius from the Mars company.
Sure.
I mean,
they're gonna do it. Like,
I mean, it benefits them. Why wouldn't they try it? There's no limiting factor in the why they
also
can't do it.
pure speculation, but like they got to be paying these universities. Like, there's got to be some money coming in from somewhere here.
Jim, of course.
yeah,
everything revolves around money in medicine.
yeah.
Like,
they don't
you
care
know-
about anything other than getting that.
Yeah,
ton of
all
money.
Yeah.
UC, we're just using UC David. Whatever. I mean, University of Norfolk. I don't even know if that's a real university,
I
but
think it is.
if they is it,
No, I'm just fucking.
but they, if
Michael says Norfolk for every hypothetical college.
I've never said that in my life.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know where I came up with that. I was thinking of the railroad, and
The railroad.
Norfolk Southern,
I have
Oh,
no
railroad
idea what
company.
that is.
CSX, and Norfolk Southern.
I never know that.
But so basically what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we're gonna offer you this spot, but you have to promise to work for Mars, M&M Mars, for 3 years afterwards.
M&M Mars.
Or you can go the traditional route. Maybe you'll match in, maybe you won't.
Maybe
Yeah.
a match. Maybe
It's
you won't.
unlikely. The match rate is only 30%.
Either way,
Yeah.
we're gonna get paid because
Yeah.
we don't care about you. So if you
Right.
want to
Yeah.
take this, maybe it'll work out in your favor. I don't really care. We're getting paid regardless.
And our residency only makes you work 96 hours a week.
And
opposed
if
to
you
the
don't
others.
say yes, there's 9 other people behind you who
Yeah.
100% will.
I can't
Hey,
guarantee
John, you got
this
the
is
other
gonna be there
application?
for- Yeah.
You see,
He's not gonna say yes.
Yeah. It's like
who's that? Who's that other student we were interviewing?
Yeah, yeah.
John, bring up his
Yeah.
application.
Put him in front of Steve over here.
Yeah.
Let me see his application.
Let's show Steve what he's about to miss out on.
Now,
Throw this up.
let me see.
Rip
Let me
this
see
one
right
up.
here. John ain't much different from you. But you're standing here right now. So I'm gonna tell you right now. You want to come work for me? Change your life.
Michael said Eminem.
And then Michael goes M&M Mars.
Butterfinger
Eminem Mars.
veterinary medicine.
It's M&M Mars. Isn't that the actual name?
I know. It's just
No, it's Mars. It's just
yeah,
Mars.
it's just Mars.
It used to
I
be
mean, they
M&M
ma-
Mars.
Yeah,
No,
they make
it's
it.
not.
Jim, it used to be M&M Mars. It was the name of the whole company.
No.
Yes, they changed it. Look, I'm gonna do it right now.
Don't
History
they-
of Mars company name.
M&M
Mars owns like everything.
There's no mention of M&M Mars. That's just one of their products.
I know, but
You're just alliterating the M.
No, but they used to be known as M&M Mars.
No, they weren't. They started in 1911 as the Morrow Bar Company.
Where am I making this up then? I know for a fact. Maybe it was
You
on their
tell me.
stock. It was on their stock ticker or something. It was called M&M Mars.
I mean, okay, but that's not the company name.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so that sucks, and it's really bad for the industry, and I can't stand it.
And
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen in human medicine because the government has control and provides payment to. Well, now I will say, now this is the way it can happen in human medicine, because all M&M Mars has to do is go and strike. All they have to do is go and strike a deal with Medicaid services
Yeah.
and say, hey, we'll give you an additional $20,000 per resident if you let us scoop in some of these contracts that you're giving these hospitals.
Yeah. They buy up like
And
clinics.
then CMS, the government service, will say, no problem. We'll sign a 50-year contract with you. That's what they'll
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Right.
And then now M&M Mars has a contract with the government to supply half the residency spots in America. And then they work them to death. And then this is just a whole disaster. No one will ever go into medicine again.
I mean, think about like if someone like M&M Mars bought like Rad Partners, they had to like fill spots like for around the country reading radiology, and then it's like all they had to do was be like, hey, X and X University in Chicago, like, we need people to fill the rad partners jobs. Like, will you take these residents? We'll pay for them. And they're like, yeah, dude, sign
Yeah,
us
of
up.
course. Yeah, of course.
The only downside is if it does crater in human medicine, I think that creates a much larger scale, like, bubble to burst if it happens in medicine and it fails miserably.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, who's to say they're not going to try? And there are a lot of private hospitals, like private clinics and stuff, who have residencies. And you know where I think this will probably parlay into our next topic, Jim? This will probably have a very profound effect in the dental residencies, because right now they're paying dentists or dental students or dental residents. Oh wait, yeah, dental students are paying to go to residency. So they pay like $75,000 or $100,000 per year for residency. They don't get paid. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like orthodontic residencies and fellowship, all that stuff. They pay these companies. They charge them whatever they want for the residency spot, and they will literally pay them like $100,000 per year to just be a resident there and not make a salary.
That can't
How
be
crazy is
possible.
that?
It is 100% true.
The only thing I've ever
How do
heard
people
worse than
pay for
venom-
that?
They don't. They literally end up their orthodontic training with like $1 million in debt.
Oh my god! So they take
Not
out
even
another
joking.
loan. You either have your parents pay for it, or you take out another loan.
Correct.
Oh my god! How is that legal? I mean,
because people are willing to do it.
oh my god! I mean, that's
Good
insane.
question,
If I had to pay
Tommy.
for residency, I'd be like, I guess I won't do residency. I'll just work like.
Again,
Right.
that is pure and utter criminal activity.
I
I've
mean,
said
that
it-
is thievery. Which, I guess the entire dental. No wonder the entire dental world is trying
mean,
to scam you for more money.
Well, dude, no wonder the entire dental world is apparently like misdiagnosing literally everything that I have.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're
wait,
terrible.
what's your story with this dental? Why did you
So-
say this day?
So
I have nothing wrong with dentists. I don't know what
No,
you're.
honest to God, I'm just joking. I don't have anything wrong with dentists either.
I do.
Oh.
I hate 'em.
Although there's one specific dentist that I got so pissed off about. So I have two dental stories. I just went to the dentist and they cleaned my teeth. It was like a routine cleaning. And they were like, yeah, you've got a little bit of like, tartar on one of your teeth, but otherwise you're fine. And she goes, how often do you floss? I go, like twice a week. And she goes, yeah, you need to do that every day because you'll get tartar like this. I go, I just show up here and you scrape it off every 6 months. Like you're taking care of it. Like me flossing once to twice a week is resulting in what you just saw. And you told me I'm doing fine. So why would I floss more? Like, I'm going to floss every day, which is a huge pain in the ass, by the way.
I see your point.
Flossing's such a pain.
I floss twice a day every day.
Oh, okay.
Twice a day?
Twice a day.
Not necessary at all.
I mean, like
Yeah.
after a meal, I have to floss my teeth.
And we all have like very healthy teeth. Like I've never had a
Yeah.
cavity.
I've had
Michael's
two
gums used to bleed when he was a kid. I used to think it was gross.
Yeah, but you know what I think about that? So I floss, I floss the daily required amount, sometimes once, sometimes twice, every single day for like a decade now. And yeah, sometimes my gums bleed because they freaking press so hard and they're
I know.
digging with a metal
That
instrument.
was my next point. Is there like you've got some bleeding here? I'm like, you're taking a metal dental scraper underneath my gum tissue.
Into
I'm so sick of-
mucosa. And
I'm
you're
so sick of
jamming
that.
in
Be
there.
like, this means it's inflamed. I'm like, no, it means you just took a backhoe underneath my tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you just biopsy my gingiva? And it's inflamed now?
I'm like,
Yeah.
if it didn't bleed, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
With the amount of force
I
you're
said-
putting in there.
Hey, get to polishing.
Yeah.
And
I
get
mean,
me out of here.
Literally, if you do that to any mucosa in your body, it's gonna bleed.
My
Anywhere
second
in your
point-
body.
It literally,
Right.
like maybe not like some parts of your skin and stuff. You can put a flat object, but if it's a sharp object, yeah,
So
I think
it's
it's
a steak.
I think that's a complete lie. I'm so sick of that. And I think dentists, it's just deeply ingrained in them. But like anytime you forcefully instrument a mucosal surface like that with a sharp metal object,
yeah, it's
gonna bleed.
vascular.
yeah, it's gonna bleed. They're like, this is pathologic.
It's like doing
No,
a
it's not.
biopsy and
You
being
want
like,
blood
"Ooh, it's
flow. That's why it
bleeding."
heals so easily.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
have pretty good teeth, and they always bleed when they're jamming a freaking probe in there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's how it
It's,
works.
it's inevitable.
Second, holding that whatever thing you put in your mouth for a dental X-ray is the
Oh.
most gag-inducing, uncomfortable thing. I
Dude.
feel like I'm in the movie Saw.
Dude, don't even get me started with that thing.
I
and
can't-
how
I can-
Tommy hates
Tommy,
that stuff.
I can
Oh,
barely do it. I can
dude.
barely do it.
That's how, as a
It's-
kid, it drove me nuts, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Mom had to like negotiate. First of all, they want to give you a head X-ray every time you're in there. It's like,
That
"Nah,
was my
relax.
third point.
Yeah,
That was
Like,
my
relax.
what are we
third point.
doing?
Relax
First of
with
all,
the
in a
radiation.
second.
I
We'll get to
know
that.
you guys don't have radiation safety
Hold
training.
on, hold on. We'll get to that in a second.
All right.
Michael, are you able to tolerate the gag reflex with that thing?
I know what you're saying because it like. Well, first of all, it's
The
the
one
most
that goes on the
uncomfortable.
side and you bite it on the side.
It's so uncomfortable.
But
I
it's
just
like-
kind of I just kinda-
under your
gagging, just
tonsils.
doing it right now.
no. I just go to a different place in my mind. I'm just like,
You have to breathe through your nose.
yeah. I just like
Yeah.
I just like stare off, and I'm like, I just basically think about other things.
And I'm
like,
literally, yeah. I mean, I won't say what it feels like, but like, I'm like, hurry. I'm like, hurry the fuck up with the X-ray. Like they always walk over somewhere else and they take their time, and it's like a full minute of holding this thing in your mouth.
Yeah.
And then if they don't get you, they're like, you're moving, and they have to like come over and like,
Oh God. First of all,
this with your
if
position.
there's
I'm
a
like,
little bit,
that did not matter.
yeah, if there's a little bit of motion in my freaking Panorex jaw X-ray, like I think you'll still find the answer you're looking for. Like relax.
yeah. I mean, I don't know
Okay.
why it's so the edges are so sharp. I'm like, what?
So
This
sharp?
isn't comfortable. So
Yeah.
sharp.
So sharp.
So it just hits your gums and it makes them bleed. And they're like, "Oh, you have bad gums." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, you have."
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Okay.
radiologists, and I don't understand why they put that stuff in
You
there.
just put this freaking
Right.
Lego in my mouth. Of course, it's gonna bleed.
Yeah. The third thing is what you just were alluding to, Tommy, which is when we were kids, they were like, you have to get x-rays every 6 months. And our mom, somehow the Southern rural growing up, background of our mom, who's just skeptical of everything. She was like, we're not doing that. You're getting it once a year. Like you don't need x-rays around your head
You don't.
twice a year.
Yeah,
It
shout out to
turns
Mom
out she
for
was
that.
right.
Yeah, she's just very right.
And
You don't even need
so
them once a year as a kid. You need
What
them
the
once
hell-
every
What
15.
the hell were dentists doing taking x-rays of your teeth twice a year throughout your entire life?
I mean, it's insane what they're.
So
It's unneeded. It's unneeded radiation.
nowadays they don't. They do it once a year. But even
Well,
still,
But
when I
you know
get there-
why? You know why most people don't do it is because insurance only covers it once a year.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
So
that's what-
I always say,
insurance
I'm
is
like,
this is stupid.
that's what I say. I'm like, well, if I had it last time, I'm not getting it another time because insurance isn't covering it, and I'm not paying $500 for stupid X-rays.
Oh, a Panorex X-ray. Oh,
Yeah.
so dude, I got like 3 of those in my entirety of residency call. And you get someone would order a Panorex X-ray from the ED, and I'd be like, "What do you want me to do with this?" You want me
What?
to- I swear to God, we would get Panorex X-rays like for the
You have
jaw.
to read them. I've
Hold on,
never read
explain
one.
what that is, Tommy. Explain what that is.
It's so when they do the X-ray at the dental office, they basically scan when you have the stuff in your mouth, and they do the full
You
thing
stand
around.
there.
Yeah, you stand there and it does like a scan around your head. It's almost like a tomo, honestly.
Yeah, tone beam or tonal or something.
Yeah,
It's like an iPhone panorama, but of your teeth.
yeah, and so it's like it
X-ray
gets
version.
it makes like a plain film view of like your entire jawline,
Right.
and like every now and then the ED would order one, and I'd be like, oh,
Why would the ED order that?
dude? Don't even get me started. I mean, they order the craziest stuff, but I'd be like, one was like for a jaw fracture.
Yeah, we got to
other was
get an
like-
emergency doctor on this podcast.
Yeah, we need to get Lawson out here and just rip him
Yeah,
apart the
we
entire
need
time.
to do that.
Half of our friends are emergency doctors.
Yeah, that is true.
know.
Like have
We should do like an 18-person Zoom call where you guys just battle it out.
yeah.
Oh, we give each
Also,
other a hard
we'll
time.
also
all
be
the
like,
time.
oh, okay. Oh. Yeah.
All right.
But they would
um,
order that. There's other ones that was like dental abscess. And I was like, what do you want me to read it? I remember too, this is the other thing. My attending the like later that week when we were like going I saw him, he talked about it. He tried to like talk to me about the teeth x-rays. I was like, I'm just gonna stop you right there. I was like, you don't have to keep going with this because there's nothing you're gonna say that I'm gonna pay attention to.
Well,
or
you'll never
care.
read that.
Yeah.
Or-
I was like,
or
I'm
what-
never gonna read that. I was like, how stupid. And I was like, he was like, yeah, you get these periapical lucencies. I was like, whoa. I was like, you don't have to, don't
You're
waste your
done.
breath. Yeah.
I
You're done.
remember
You're
there
done.
was a
You're
cat dental x-ray thing that we had to do for like an elective. And I remember thinking like, I'm not absorbing any of this. I'm never doing this.
Yeah.
Never. I don't care what you make me do. I'll never do this.
You know, I will say, I said that about a lot of stuff in training when I was like, I will never do this, and therefore I'm going to turn my mind off. But then I realize now I have to do some of that stuff, and I'm like kind of kicking myself that I shut my mind off.
Okay. You just
and then
relearned it.
my final point about my final poor experience with dentist And in retrospectively, this is the last straw. So about 5 years ago, I went to a dentist in Chicago and I moved there, and I hadn't been to the dentist in like 2 years. And they were doing the same thing where they were like, your gums are bleeding. So you have like gingivitis, and you've got tartar on your teeth or whatever. I'm like, I literally have no symptoms of any kind. Like, what are we even talking about here? I'm an asymptomatic, just, horrible teeth person. So, so she has me do the hygienist has me do this oral PCR panel.
No.
Okay.
God.
Where I slosh around saline, I swig saline in my mouth for like a minute straight, and I spit it into a cup. And then I come back a week later, and there's some results that they're showing me. And it's all these different bacteria on this bar graph of like bacterial growth in the sample.
No.
And they tell me that I need to go on metronidazole and Augmentin for 2 weeks based on, I go, guys, I have no symptom. Like, what are you talking about?
What?
Like, I don't feel, there's nothing wrong. You tell me I need to go on oral antibiotics for 2 weeks because of it. And I looked at the dentist. I said, what is this PCR test? Like, what, this is just my normal flora in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, this is like,
Tons of
where's the
bacteria in your mouth. Your mouth is disgusting.
I know, well, especially mine. And I was like, well, where's the control? Like, what is the control here? And she's like, well, this graph shows that it's like above threshold for how many of these there should be. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I mean,
And it
so
was
you're
like,
trying to kill them all off. So
yeah, I'm like, are you trying to make my mouth like aseptic? Like, what are you talking
Yeah, I don't
about?
think it's possible.
Yeah. I'm just going to go eat food and it's going to like repopulate
instantaneously.
Yeah.
One bite of an apple.
I was like,
back
I
on
am not going on oral antibiotics for literally nothing. So I went to another dentist 6 months later. I just threw the prescriptions in the I said, I'm done with this place. And it was one of those like cosmetic dentistry places.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they were kind of like a little bit like not evidence-based. Anyway, I go to like a much more normal family dentist.
Sounds like it.
6 months later. And she was like, oh yeah, that person, like, just that they're known for just like pushing that.
Well, I mean, yeah, they just bill for that random stupid test.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, have you ever heard of going to the dentist and taking an oral PCR test before?
I mean, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, that's the kind of stuff where people, it's like, they're like, oh, we can measure the bacteria. Like, and what do you do with that information? They're like, well, we don't know yet, but we can measure it. And you're like, well, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Why are you wasting my time?
You're probably the only one that questioned it, Jim, and everybody else just paid for the test.
Yeah.
And
Pay your freaking lease payment with somebody else's dime.
yeah, seriously.
I have one last thing to show you guys. This is a TikTok I saw today, and I want you to tell me if you've ever heard of anything like what is on these stories.
All right, give me some sound here.
I'll give you some sound. So basically, this person is this is a female orthopedic surgeon, and she's having her male colleagues read actual comments that other attendings have said to her throughout her career.
That was great.
So
Look at that old guy.
I know. First of all, does this guy not look straight out of like the picture for like the practice website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I like my ladies when they're changing my dressings on their knees. That's hard to say.
The following video is true things said to women orthopedic surgeons.
What kind of birth control are you on? You should get an IUD. You're not allowed to get pregnant during residency.
Ooh.
She's pleasant and tries hard, but she's not cut out for real orthopedics.
She would do well in something like hand or pediatrics. Oh my God, I have to read this one? That's a skip. What advice do I have for you? 2 words, birth control. Not bad for a girl. Wow, you're stronger than you look? I'm stronger than I look. That's ridiculous.
Could you ever think of me as a man instead of your attending?
Is it you who actually does the surgery? You're letting your hormones get in the way of your clinical judgment. Well, I guess you did an okay job for a female surgeon. These are beyond belief.
Oh God, a woman surgeon.
What are you going to do? Change your mind in the middle of surgery?
Oh God.
You do surgery in those heels. I'd love to see that. That's pathetic.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I saw that today, and have you guys ever heard anybody say anything like that?
I mean, yeah, I've heard
Really?
nonsense. Yeah, nonsense like that. The problem with I've heard a lot of things around the hospital when people just feel like they're a little too comfortable around people, and then
Really?
they take it to the unprofessional level.
Can
I
you
haven't
think
heard
of any?
anything. No, I haven't heard of anything like that. That's ridiculous. But all of those, if someone said that around me, I'd be like,
I know.
what are you
Like-
doing?
Yeah. Like to a co-resident or something like that.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
if a
Oh.
surgeon said that to a female next to me and be like, I would literally be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I hate stuff like that so much.
Yeah.
All,
I
all
can-
that hierarchical stuff in medicine where they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
woman surgeon."
But the
What
thing
are you
is,
gonna do, change your mind in the middle of surgery?
I mean, God.
but that's I know a lot of them are trying to be like funny, but they don't realize how stupid that's. It makes them
Yeah.
look so stupid.
Yeah. First of all,
Like-
you're not a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also the least funny person in the world. You're a huge loser.
You-
But
you're in a professional environment, and
Yeah.
I don't know when they said those things, but if you say that stuff now, see you later.
oh yeah.
Oh
You know?
yeah. Or is that true though? Like, can you say it now
There's
and just,
probably
like
still-
nothing happens to you?
I'm sure there's some like small town places where they just kind of laugh it off.
Or major institution?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's
I don't-
definitely major institutions that protect their physicians who make a lot of money for them 100%. Like
Yeah.
anything, hospitals are no different.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the worst thing I've ever heard, and I think the worst thing I've ever heard was I had a male tech tell me that he could change my sexual orientation through a sex act, and he announced it in like the middle of the hospital in front of everybody.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
God, that's incredibly
I
inappropriate.
looked at my boss. I was like, what? This is cool. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no
We
big
just
deal.
say things like that.
Yeah.
Like, shut up, Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Yeah, like,
A gym
okay.
surgeon? Ugh.
Oh, dude,
Alright.
I had an intern one time when I was a student at Georgia, and I did a good job on a case or something. Like the faculty was like telling me I was doing a good job, and she came up and patted me on the shoulder. She goes, "You're gonna make a great general practice doctor one day," and like walked away. And I was like, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" I
God,
said,
I
"You don't
wanna-
know what I want to be."
Yeah. I would have been like, you're freaking. I'm sure. I was going to say something, but it
No,
probably cut out.
Well, I have it on good authority that this person is a absolute freaking trash can of a doctor these days. So
I'm sure.
Wow,
I
they
can't do
usually
about
are.
it.
You
Yeah.
know, if you have
I-
to,
I'm picturing
Yeah.
something in my head.
if you have to.
And by the
put
way,
down-
this is not me saying that like I'm better than GP is. Like I don't think that at all. But like that's
Right.
just not what I wanted to do.
That's what she was implying by.
She was
or-
implying that.
Yeah, she was implying that by saying that.
But also, if you have to put down someone like that, you have so many things wrong with your life that are going on with you. Like, who has to say that to someone? And what if you do want to be a good GP? Like, it's just so.
I mean,
I
the-
hate stuff like that.
People like
This
that are
this
so
person was so
insecure,
awful.
and they tie their entire personality to being like a specific type of doctor. And like that's all that comes through, and you're like, oh, you're a huge loser. Like
Right.
that's makes sense.
I mean, we've obviously all had come across things like this. Not as bad because they aren't just straight up sexist, but we've all had things unprofessional said to us
Yeah.
in
I know all,
training.
like,
in it.
Yeah. I
From,
know all
from
the
very,
women I
very,
work with are like that. Yeah.
yeah, we've had bad things said to us from very high up people amongst the chain,
Right.
But
All right, so that was terrible. And speaking of other terrible things being said, how cool is Kanye West?
God, what another train wreck.
I mean, he's been an absolute freaking loser.
I was
for-
talking to my
We're
barber
about to
about
hit
that.
we're about to hit the 1 hour mark and probably wrap this up. But I just wanted to end with Kanye West is
Sucks.
one of the biggest pieces of garbage I've ever seen in my entire life.
Correct.
Yeah. The thing is, he has been for a decade now, and everyone's like, well, he's still a
Like I
Kanye."
understand that he's probably having a mental health breakdown, but like that doesn't excuse you from saying like
No.
awful stuff. Like you don't get to just go on 10 hours worth of popular podcasts in a week and just spout like the most insane BS in the history of mankind. Like what
Yeah.
are you
Yeah,
talking about?
Complete
Not a free pass.
anti-Semitic remarks. Like, I mean, that's literally. I don't know. I mean, but it's good though because he's getting completely destroyed by like every company he's ever done business with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
this is
think-
what he.
Do you think he's gonna end up being like homeless or something like that in 10
No,
years?
'cause he has tons of money.
He just has too much money.
Yeah.
He has
Because I don't think he's
he has
spending
hundreds
money.
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many people
Like,
cancel him.
Here's what I don't
Plus,
understand.
his
How could
children's
you-
mom
could
is
you
Kim
look-
Kardashian.
How could you look in your bank account, see $1 billion, and then think there's a cabal around you conspiring to like manipulate you?
Yeah.
Like you are the winner.
Yeah.
I know you
Like-
are the one doing the manipulating at
Like
this
so.
point.
So what are you
I would
talking
love to get
about?
manipulated for $1 billion. Sign me up.
Sign
Oh
me
my
up.
god.
Yeah, I
Manipulate
don't know,
anything you
man.
want.
But Kanye has kids, so like he's doing all this stuff.
I know. Can you imagine your dad doing this?
He's looking like an absolute moron in front of his children.
Dude, I think about that now that I have a kid. I think about that perspective so much
Yeah.
now, and I never did before.
I mean, they have to live with their dad.
Watching your parent act a certain way, like I had a couple of clients recently that were absolute just nightmare human beings, and they had a little kid with them, and I was like, can you imagine if your parents were these people?
Oh god.
Yeah.
This is what I told one of my I was like, can you imagine if your parents were like this? This was your parents. Like these were the people that were going to raise you. They were
Yeah.
just these absolute losers.
But these kids now, they're like, my dad's a genius artist, and then now all of a sudden that just completely gets erased because he's just being canceled for being.
Yeah,
an
he's also
absolute-
his kid's probably also going to get like online harassed for the rest of his life,
yeah, because he's going through some
Because-
rampage.
and he's responsible for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll end it on a high note. What are you guys up to?
Yeah.
I'm playing golf tomorrow, and I can't wait because I'm obsessed.
God, it's Friday. How you play golf? I got a freaking
I'm
huge day
off.
tomorrow.
I mean, oh, shocker. Jim's off.
Oh,
What
The
else is
rare.
new? Yeah, so rare.
Multi.
Tommy, what are you doing this week?
Playing Call of Duty. Oh, actually, I might because the new Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer comes out
Oh
tomorrow.
my
Ooh,
God.
that's actually now that you
video
mentioned,
game,
you
this
reminded
guy.
me.
As if he doesn't sit in front of a monitor enough.
Oh wait,
Stream my-
wait, Jim. I read something yesterday that showed I forgot how many children they analyzed, but children who played video games had better rate of memorization and like memory recall compared to those who did not.
I'm sure they do. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
But I'm
it's an
just saying, like-
that doesn't mean a
process.
36-year-old doctor who has better things to do should play Modern Warfare.
well, I'm training
Well,
my hands for
well.
biopsies.
Yeah,
I need some. Yeah,
he's just training.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
training. I'm like, hon, I'm training. Leave me
Right.
alone.
Yeah,
All right.
so I'm on
So,
call.
Michael-
So
You're just
probably-
working, Michael?
I'm on call. I'm not working. I'm just on call, but
Okay.
I may play golf. We'll see.
Tommy, you're coming to visit me in a couple weeks. Maybe we should
Yeah.
pod with you over here.
No, that'll be fun.
I'll film an episode with you for a change instead of
Ah,
Michael.
there you go.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Oh, I'm the youngest brother. I'm an idiot.
Ah.
All right, let's end this podcast.
All right, let's end this nonsense before we ruin our careers.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
See you guys later. Subscribe to DVM Cellini and Dr. Cellini, Instagram and YouTube.
Not Tommy.
Not Tommy.
Ciao.
All right. See you guys.